Chapter 1. The Invitation. Elliot Reeves never believed in ghosts. He was a man of reason, a skeptic who scoffed at paranormal investigations and horror movie cliches. But curiosity got the best of him when he received a mysterious letter inviting him to stay one night at the infamous Blackwood Manor in exchange for a hefty cash reward. The conditions were simple: stay from dusk until dawn. There would be cell phones, cameras, or communication with the outside world. The challenge came from an eccentric billionaire who had purchased the manor years ago and now sought thrill seekers to test their courage. Elliot, drowning in debt, saw an easy way out. With nothing to lose, he signed the waiver and arrived at the towering Victorian mansion just as the sun dipped below the horizon. Its blackened windows and peeling walls loomed over him like a watching specter. The air was thick, suffocating. The heavy wooden doors creaked ominously as he stepped inside, sealing his fate for the night. Chapter 2. The First Signs. At first, the house was silent, too silent. Elliot walked through the grand foyer, chandeliers draped in cobwebs, the air thick with the scent of rot and dust. He lit a few candles scattered around the room and settled onto an old armchair, expecting nothing more than a long, uneventful night. Then the whispers began, soft, distant murmurs like voices just beyond the walls. Elliot frowned, searching for a logical explanation. Perhaps a draft? The sound of old pipes? But the voices continued, growing clearer as though calling his name. Then the piano in the parlor played a single note. Elliot's blood ran cold. The piano had been covered in dust, untouched for decades. His pulse pounded as he slowly approached it. Another key pressed down, this time by an unseen hand. Chapter 3. The Dark Presence. Determined not to be spooked, Elliot forced himself to laugh. "Nice trick," he said aloud, his voice echoing through the hollow mansion. But the air around him thickened. The temperature plummeted. The whispers turned to hushed giggles, then abruptly stopped. A shadow darted past the doorway. Elliot spun around. The hallway beyond was empty. His pulse pounded as he stepped toward the dark corridor. Flickering candlelight barely illuminated the walls, revealing peeling wallpaper and antique portraits. The eyes of the figures in the paintings seemed to follow him. Then a guttural growl rumbled from the stairwell above. Elliot's skin prickled. Something was watching him. Something that wasn't human. Chapter 4. The Room That Shouldn't Exist. Elliot needed to move, keep busy. Anything to shake the creeping dread clawing at his mind. He ventured upstairs, every floorboard groaning beneath his weight. A strange draft sent chills up his spine, though every window was tightly shut. He found himself in a corridor that wasn't on the house's blueprint. The doors lining the hallway were wrong, too tall, their handles rusted over, some wrapped in heavy chains. At the end of the hall stood a door unlike the others, pristine, untouched, its golden knob gleaming as though beckoning him. Against his better judgment, he turned the handle. Inside was a child's bedroom, frozen in time. A porcelain doll sat on a rocking chair, its head tilted unnaturally, its painted lips curled into a faint, knowing smile. The bed was neatly made, the wallpaper a soft shade of blue with tiny white stars. A voice behind him whispered, "She doesn't like strangers in her room." Elliot spun around. No one was there. The doll's head was now facing the other way. Chapter 5. The Haunting. The house wasn't just playing tricks, it was toying with him. The whispers became voices, the shadows became figures lurking just out of reach. He heard footsteps pacing above him, though the ceiling sagged with age and could not support any weight. Then the laughter began, high-pitched, childlike giggles that sent a shudder down his spine. A door slammed behind him. The candle he carried blew out. He was plunged into darkness. Something cold grazed his cheek. A hand. He stumbled back, gasping, clawing for the candle. He struck a match, the sudden flame illuminating a pair of hollow, glowing eyes, staring back at him from the corner of the room. And then it moved. Chapter 6. The Escape. Elliot didn't wait to see what happened next. He bolted from the room, down the endless hallway, past doors that rattled as if something inside wanted out. The whispers turned into screams. The walls pulsed as though the house itself was alive. The grand staircase stretched longer than before, twisting like a labyrinth. He stumbled, the air thickening, his lungs burning. He reached the foyer, clawing at the front door, but it wouldn't budge. Behind him, a voice purred, "Leaving so soon?" Ice-cold breath touched the back of his neck. Chapter 7. The Final Hour. Elliot's watch read 4:45 a.m. He just had to survive 15 more minutes. His mind raced. The house did.